Your whiteness, bartender. I want to be what you want to be when you grow up. I want to be white. Okay, bartender. I know we're gonna have a whole bunch of folks who disagree with me, but my point is, for use and educational purposes, this man ain't black. He ain't even from America, and he damn sure he's more like an Obama. You know what I mean? And we can see the condition that rap is in nowadays. It's got all these imposters and blackface people in there trying to tell black people who they supposed to be. No one, and this ain't nothing like the 70s and the 60s legitimate music. No spiritual music. No wonder folks then lost their identity. Because this man perpetrating being black is one of the biggest frauds ever. This man was born in a Jewish family. A Jewish. Even his daddy don't really look black. He look like he's Puerto Rican or something. So he definitely suspect that the same Obama shit, that same Kamala Harris shit, the same old bullshit, man. All these fake ass immigrants coming here and then taking over America, black folks, entertainment and then confusing them with some shit that they ain't even claiming to be black, and they ain't black at all. This man born in some motherfucking Canada and lived in a Jewish neighborhood and gonna tell a lie about his mama lived in the basement. Man, come on. It's some bullshit. This nigga is whiter than white. He ain't even black. He probably, yeah, you can be white and copy some black vernacular, but nigga, you ain't never been raised in the hood at all. You's a straight up motherfucker. Who writing your motherfucking raps? Who writing this man raps? See, phony as fake as
5 Billboard chart-topping
as they come.
3 mixtapes and more top 10 Billboard singles.
He's as fake as they come, bartender.
From a commercial standpoint, Drake.
Nigga, your mama is Jewish.
Nigga,
Jewish people got a motherfucking
and he's also gone through more transformations than any musician.
They pretended to be
early
black
in his career,
and took the religion and said that they the ones.
Writing emotional introspection.
The Jewish people got a conflict against black people because in the Bible it say that, you know, Jesus had brown skin and he was black. But the Jewish people took it and said, no, Jesus ain't did shit. In fact, we got our own Bible. It's called the Quran or whatever the shit is, you know what I'm saying? And so we got our own Bible and we switched the story up and said that Jesus is us. So, you know, it's like a thing to where it's like they already got a thing against, they done stole everything from black people already. And now they got all these other fake Jews. They got a real fake Jew that's claiming to be black, stealing the rest of this shit from black people? Oh no, and telling black people what reality is?
To music, alongside his producer,
that's my problem with this.
Who helped him carve a sound that was...
Once I found out that Drake mama was Jewish, it was all over for me. I knew he was an agent.
Unique and transformative. From 2010 to 2013, there were countless artists trying to sound like Drake. But now it seems like the tables have turned, and Drake is biting whatever style is hot to stay on top. It seems like somewhere along the way, he became more interested in maintaining his relevancy than being authentic. And in attempting to please everyone, he diluted himself as a person and lost his own identity. People change. I mean, I change every day. I'm not knocking that. I just can't get down with Drake's recent image because I feel like he's trying to be something he's not. But maybe along the way he got so immersed in this caricature of himself that he started believing it. Perhaps Aubrey Graham's best acting days weren't as Wheelchair Jimmy on Degrassi, but rather playing a hip-hop superstar named Drake. A man who's...
He's a white man pretending to be black, and then it'd be cool if he'd come out and say, you know, I'm white. Then, like Mac Miller, you know what I mean? Then people could see that he ain't black at all. And then they gonna say he Jewish? It's over.
He's capable of jumping to the top of the charts with any
That nigga ain't never been poor. He's never been broke.
At T-Mobile for Business, we're using unconventional thinking to create new opportunities for small business growth. Like unlimited plans starting at $25 per line by America's leader in 5G and Facebook advertising on us.
It's over.
Who else really trying to mess with Hollywood Cole? I'm drinking Birmingham like a Hollywood show. shows. I'm trying to tell you something that you probably should know. It's that Slumdog Millionaire Bollywood flow.
Aubrey Drake Graham was born on October 24, 1986 in Toronto, Canada. His father, Dennis Graham, was a drummer for rock and roll star Jerry Lee Lewis. Drake said his mother, Sandy, also comes from a very musical family, and his grandma used to baby. Drake Graham was born on October 24, 1986 in Toronto, Canada. His father, Dennis Graham, was a
And now, how the hell do he's another product of a white baby too, of white parents. He a mixed baby too. So his daddy was not black. So let that go. And his daddy is somewhere in Canada. I don't give a fuck. And his daddy been hanging around white folks anyway. How the fuck else did he get permission to marry a Jewish woman? So I want to hear that shit. His daddy is white, nigga. Don't let his fucking skin color fool you.
Drummer for rock and roll star Jerry Lee Lewis.
Rock and roll star, nigga, not rap star, not blues star, not soul, nigga. Rock and roll, nigga. That's white, nigga.
Drake said his mother, Sandy, also comes from a very musical family, and his grandma used to babysit for Aretha Franklin. Drake comes from an eclectic background. His father is an African-American Catholic.
You a goddamn lie. Ain't no such thing as no African-American Catholic. Nigga, don't you mean Baptist? Nigga, you better stop lying to me. That motherfucker look Puerto Rican to me. You better stop fucking lying to me. But I'm saying he probably the product of the same thing the other dude. His mama or daddy probably Jewish too. What else was their relationship? What did they have in common? Nigga, he got a white mama or daddy too. But the nigga look Puerto Rican to me.
And his mother is a white Canadian Jew. His parents divorced when he was 5 years old, and he was raised by his mother in Forest Hill, an affluent and predominantly Jewish neighborhood in Toronto. In interviews, he's taken issue with people saying he had an easy life.
I only moved to Forest Hill because my mother...
This nigga said, I only moved to live with the billionaires because they had a basement in their mansion. And you hear that bullshit? That don't even make sense.
Is an incredible woman who was willing to live far beyond her means for the sake of her family. We rented someone's basement and the first floor. I didn't have some mansion.
A goddamn lie. Somebody donated that shit to y'all. Nigga, what you mean you rented something? No, motherfucker, that was probably your family, your extended family. See, he lying.
I wasn't, I grew up with a mother that was deep in debt because she wanted the best for her family.
In this nicer neighborhood, Drake found being biracial was more of an issue than when he lived in the poorer section of Weston Road.
I just always felt like an outsider. I went, when I was in Forest Hill, it was an...
How the fuck, what was your daddy at? What you mean child support? He wasn't paying child support. I thought your daddy was a rock and roll star. Don't tell me you gonna be broke as fuck and your daddy is a rock and roll star, and he ain't helping your mama and visiting you or talking to you, or even saying, hey, I'm gonna help you with the kid. Man, do it make any sense what he just said? He fucking lying. That's like saying your daddy is Michael Jackson, but y'all living in the basement. Stop that shit.
All Jewish school, and just being biracial, but still being Jewish, so I was kind of connected to the kids, but sort of distant.
It was Drake's dad that really spurred his interest in music. Dennis would bring...
You see that? His daddy, they saying he broke, and it's like, his daddy rich and a music producer and shit, but all of a sudden him and his mama gotta live in a damn basement. Don't make sense, dude. Come on, man, y'all can't be that retarded. I ain't calling nobody retarded, but how the fuck your daddy gonna be Michael Jackson and giving you all this game, and y'all living in a motherfucking basement in some billionaire fucking neighborhood? Y'all living with billionaires, but y'all broke. That don't make no sense to me. Y'all can fall for that fried ice cream, but nigga, leave me out of it.
5 to 6 year old Drake to gigs at various bars around Toronto and get him to go on stage and sing at times. After his divorce, Dennis moved to Memphis. So Drake spent part of his childhood in Tennessee, where he was influenced by the southern rap culture. In Memphis, Dennis started selling drugs and was eventually caught and put in jail. While in prison, he'd reserve time for Drake to speak to a fellow inmate who also rapped.
My dad used to share his phone time with this guy.
Oh, okay, so his daddy brought him to Memphis to sell drugs. So, okay, so he wasn't all the way innocent. At least his daddy was a criminal. So that's where he got his criminal roots from. But other than that, Daddy, I still say that you was hanging with the white folks and you wasn't hanging with no black folks. And where the fuck did you get the drugs from if it wasn't the fucking white folks? Don't tell me it was the black folks. Nigga, you a fucking, and how the fuck is you broke in the first place? How the fuck are you gonna be a world famous drummer or whatever, guitar, whatever the fuck you was doing, and all of a sudden you broke? Fuck no, nigga, I don't believe it. I know you wasn't broke. I know you couldn't have been broke if you was fucking with the fucking cartel or something, because Memphis was known as one of the biggest drug motherfucking places that it is. That was the fucking, the way you could come to get them. And they was dealing with all the Mexicans.
And this guy used to rap, so he used to read me his raps over the phone. And I told him, you know, I rap too. So we used to I used to be like, it got to the point where I'd be like, yeah, Dad, all right, cool. Where's he at? Like, I got new raps to get, spit for him or whatever. So we used to kind of use the remainder of my dad's phone time and just rap until it cut off.
Unfortunately for Drake, Dennis wasn't as involved in his upbringing as he would have liked, and this would become a major theme in his music, where he'd lament on the absence of his father. He was actually one of Drake's classmates at Forest Hill who gave him his start in the entertainment industry. Drake said, quote, "There was a kid in my class whose father was an agent. His dad would say, if there's anyone in the class that makes you laugh, have them audition for me."
So he needs to stop that. He was a single parent child too, because his daddy was rich and already had all this fame through music business. He already had all the game and the knowledge to give to him about how to do the same thing. So he did not start all alone. He didn't. He wasn't never no neglected kid. He wasn't never broke or homeless or any of that bullshit that he just said that he was living in some fucking billionaire's fucking basement and a mansion. I bet you the fucking basement it didn't look like a fucking basement, I tell you that. So now, you know, his daddy was already rich, nigga. What the fuck is he talking about? He was a deprived kid and grew up in the ghetto. I don't even know I had any black friends. What you mean he was a rapper?
After the audition,
was he hanging a living in the white side of Memphis?
2001, at 14 years old, Drake...
You sure he wasn't in the rock and roll? Fuck you talking about?
Drake landed a role on the...
He was living in the black side of town. I don't see no black people in his video, nigga. Until he got met Rick Ross.
A famous Canadian teenage drama called Degrassi. Drake, who was then still going by the name Aubrey...
But he didn't grow up with no black people, that's what I'm saying. He did the same fucking thing Camilla Harris. Them niggas lived in Canada. I don't want to hear that shit about how the fuck you grew. You was born in Canada, then you moved to Memphis to go be with your daddy. No, nigga, you grew up in Canada and then went and visited your punk ass daddy. That's about it. And anyway, like I said, he didn't grow up in no single parent shit. His daddy helped him and his mother helped him.
Graham was cast as Jimmy Brooks, a popular 8th grade basketball star, an eventual paraplegic. He starred on the show for 7 years, but worked on music on his time off.
I have to utilize those dates.
And then he got in the movies and shit. Stop talking that he was a broke kid shit. That's bullshit. He ain't no motherfucking hero. The nigga was born rich.
And like, you know, I'm working with a phenomenal engineer by the name of Noah. He's also a producer, goes by the name of 4040. And we get in here, you know, I get in here when I can. I get in here, I start sessions at 1, 2 in the morning, and we leave at 7, 6 when the sun's up. You have to really budget your time.
So why do he spread all that gangster shit? Why do he spread all that, sell some drugs, or go put on $100 million worth of chains and Go drive all these cars and act like you fucking Tony Montana. Why do we sell that motherfucking fairy tale if that ain't the fairy tale he grew up in? He grew up again with some fucking innocent, modest white folks and shit. Why he selling this other fucking ghetto dreams?
You know, and it is a challenge.
I've been a mess since every girl I left went and got a new man, but I'm a new version of Fresh Prince. And the bands got bumped for real. I switch wifey every season like Uncle Phil. And then the chorus dropped. So that was a little verse I wrote. Little something.
After shooting several seasons, the producers of Degrassi decided to take the show a different direction and laid off Drake and his co-stars.
It was an upsetting time for me, you know. We all kind of came in, the names on our dressing rooms were changed. You know, they were making a complete changeover. They were starting over with new, younger kids. I remember telling my mom that I was going to tell my agent that I'm going to probably take a break and see where this music thing takes me.
Drake released his debut mixtape, Room for Improvement, in 2006, and his second mixtape, Comeback Season, the following year. Jazz Prince, whose father is legendary label founder James J. Prince, was looking to make a name for himself in the music business.
Yeah,
so his dad told him to...
How'd he hook up with him? See what I'm saying? That brother, his man was never broke. This is a lie. He was never fucking broke.
Look for the next hottest thing. At the time, MySpace had a Music Explore page, and Jazz came across Drake's music, and it immediately caught his attention.
He found me on MySpace.
He was groomed. If anything, he was groomed by all of them rich motherfuckers. So no wonder he could rap.
And I told him, I was like, yo, I like your music. And he was like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna make you famous.
He was like, man, I know Lil Wayne, and I'm gonna play him your music one day. And I was just like, yeah, right. You know, like, you know, he never really, I didn't buy it at first.
I told my dad.
Nigga, Lil Wayne ain't shit to you. Lil Wayne didn't grow up in no motherfucking mansion. Lil Wayne didn't have no fucking Jewish parents. Nigga, Lil Wayne grew up in the gutter. He didn't grow up like you. Nigga, you didn't never sell no drugs. Stop bullshitting.
Yep, I found somebody that has a...
You ain't no motherfucking Lil Wayne.
Buzz, I feel like it's hot. Like, let me hear it.
You a fucking imposter.
He didn't get it. Like, what's all this singing he doing on this music?
Jazz also sent Drake's music to Lil Wayne.
I waited like a week. I hit him every day. You heard it. He finally hit me back. Was like, yo, bro, he sucked. Don't ever play this shit for me again.
A few months later, Jazz was riding Lil Wayne to a...
Let's see that Lil Wayne even said, get this motherfucker away from me. This nigga ain't real. It wasn't that his music wasn't good. Lil Wayne said the same thing I said. Nigga, you ain't real. You motherfucking counterfeit. Oh, fuck out my face.
A jewelry store and saw another opportunity.
That's what it was.
I got him in my car.
Lil Wayne knew
I'm gonna play some
that this
Drake.
motherfucker ain't never did none of this shit that Lil Wayne fucking experienced. Nigga, he around Baby and all them. And Juvenile and all them. All them niggas was, if you don't get that motherfucking gay ass motherfucker out of here.
So we riding, I'm playing shit, you know, I'm jamming, you know, I'm jamming, I'm looking at him, and I see him over there like, you know, bobbing his head. I'm like, okay. He was like, who is this? I was like, oh, that's that nigga Drake that you told me you didn't like. And he was like, he's good. Like, where he at? I was like, he's in Toronto. I was like, man, I can get him here ASAP. Like, I need y'all to meet. Like, I'm about to call him right now.
I was like, hello? I was like, yo, what's up? I was like, this doesn't sound like my friend. And he's like, yo, what's up? It's Weezy. And it was, you know, it ended up being Wayne. He was like, I'm starting this thing called Young Money, and I'd really love for you to be a part of it. So I want to fly you out to Houston and meet you. And he did just that the day after, and that formed our relationship. And I was like this quiet kid in the corner of the bus, you know, while
Yeah, well, I guess somebody must have forced him to do it. But his initial response was, nigga, you ain't never experienced nothing real, so you can't claim them stripes. And so Lil Wayne was like, but they said, but we ain't worried about stripes. This nigga can make us some money and he can tap us into the white audience. Because that's what they use Drake for, to tap into the white audience.
Everything was going on around me, and the Carter 3 was just, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from coming out. And what a time.
That night, we drove on a bus to Atlanta. And that night we went in the studio. That's where we cut the first Forever, Stunt Hard, and another song. can think of. And about 2 weeks later, them songs had leaked, and that was that.
Drake released his first commercial EP, So Far Gone, in February 2009, and it peaked at number 6 on the Billboard charts. His debut single, Best I Ever Had, hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and helped make him a household name. From here, Drake turned into a global superstar, and every commercial album he's dropped has peaked at number 1 on the charts. Drake's arrival in music marked a new path. He wove together singing as rapping and rapping as singing. In early 2010, hip-hop had just come out of an intense auto-tune phase, and the proven formula was that a rapper would tell the story and then bring a singer in to provide emotion or sensuality. Drake showed the world that those parts could be delivered by the same person. Kanye West deserves a lot of credit for helping pioneer the genre of introspective rap with 808s and Heartbreak, but Drake and 40 turned that style into a sound that was their own. Drake's early lyrics are extremely personal and convey universal emotions like love and regret.
To me, like, making music for girls is just the waviest thing you could do. So I was never really, you know, out of all the things that people will say about me, I was never affected by the whole, like, you know, this is soft or this is emotional or whatever, because I was just kind of like, I mean, I guess I just make music for, like, dusty guys and shit, but, like, that's just not really, like, what inspires me, you know?
Drake won a Grammy for Best Rap Album in 2011 with Take Care, and 2 years later, Drake released Nothing Was the Same, which is my personal favorite album by him. And just like his title, after that, nothing was the same. By 2014, Drake had positioned himself comfortably at the top of rap commercially and wanted to assert himself as a confident individual.
I'm so sick of people saying that I'm like lonely and emotional and like associating me with this like longing for a woman or
sad guy.
Yeah, I hate that, man. It bothers me so much.
In his recent albums, it seems like his sole concern is maintaining clout, so he's hopped on trend after trend without creating his own path. In 2015, he released a collaborative project with Future after Future's epic run of releases, and the following year, Drake released a bloated and predictable album that lacked real creative energy. It felt like a room full of corporate execs were tasked with finding regional gems that Drake could repackage and turn into a commercial hit. And these songs have led some to accuse Drake of being a, quote, culture vulture, though he's quick to dismiss those claims.
The definition of appropriating a culture is not supporting that culture, doing songs with people who are deeply rooted in that culture, giving opportunity to people who are in that culture. That's not appropriating. Appropriating is taking it for your own personal gain and denying that it was ever inspired from this. That's the true disservice that somebody could do to the UK, to dancehall, to Afrobeats.
Drake has had a long history of rap beefs, but the two most notable are pivotal to the man we see today in 2020. And I'm not going to get into too much detail on them, because I think that could make for its own separate, compelling video. But the first major one was with Meek Mill, who blasted Drake on Twitter for allegedly having someone else write some of his rhymes. Drake responded with a 1-2 punch of diss tracks, charged up and back-to-back, which unanimously put him as the winner of that feud. I do think that win propelled
How the fuck is he a winner and the man just told the truth? The nigga didn't even write his own lyrics, just like I said, he's a culture vulture. The fuck is you talking about? You don't even make sense. You just said he a culture vulture, and he proved it, and another man told you he was too.
Drake's new tough guy persona. He thought, oh, I beat the street rapper. I'm on top of the charts. No one can touch me. And that is until he got roped into a feud with Pusha T, who ultimately gave him the biggest L of his career when he dropped a diss called The Story of Adidon, where he exposed Drake for having a secret baby, Adonis, with a former porn star. Basically, Pusha asserts that Drake is continuing the cycle of not being present as a father. Things got worse when Drake's own father went on the radio with Nick Cannon and dismissed the notion that he was an absent father.
I have always been. That's what I said. You a goddamn liar, you inconsiderate ass, selfish ass brat. You counterfeit, you fraud. Even your daddy call you a fraud. Drake. Talk to him, if not every day,
every other day.
Pusha asserts that Drake is continuing the cycle of not being present as a father. Things got worse when Drake's own father went on the radio with Nick Cannon and dismissed the notion that he was an absent father.
I have always been with Drake. I talk to him, if not every day, every other day.
Wow.
I said, Drake, why are you saying all of this different stuff about me, man? Like, this is not cool. He goes, Dad, he sells records.
Many fans hoped Drake would address these topics on his 5th studio album, Scorpion, but he mainly avoided those to focus on typical Drake themes, like the burden of dating multiple beautiful women at once, and the audacity of rappers to speak on his name. Scorpion is a doozy of an album, with 25 songs that span 90 minutes, and it's not a very fun listen. But numbers don't lie, and Scorpion debuted at #1 on the charts, and broke both Spotify and Apple Music's one-day global record for album streams. With Drake's upcoming album Certified Lover Boy set to drop soon, it's almost certain to be another commercial hit, but all I can do is hope for a more focused, honest, and compelling record.
At T-Mobile for Business, we're using unconventional thinking to create new opportunities for small business growth, like unlimited plans.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT, two-turn baby.
There's certainly something to be said about Aubrey Graham being able to make it out of his childhood Nickelodeon image as Wheelchair Jimmy and turn into Drake, a global superstar. And him and 40 deserve a ton of credit. They've made countless bangers over the years. And I do like a lot of his songs. I just can't get down with his current image. He just comes across as fake. He's told us over many songs and albums that he's insecure. And maybe some of that comes from him hiding the fact that he's actually a nice guy that was raised really well. He's pretending he wasn't. This is the exact opposite of the advice Lil Wayne gave him out the gate.
He's always just like, man, please be yourself. Please don't ever try and be me or anybody else. Don't ever go get tattoos. You don't have to dress any different, because I like from the day Wayne met me to now, I haven't changed anything about myself. He met me and he really liked the kid that he met. And he was like, don't stop smiling either. Don't try and get mean or aggressive. He's like, just be you.
Drake doesn't do interviews anymore. And the recent one he did actually inspired this video. It was a 2-hour and 20-minute Rap Radar interview that he produced himself. It's one of the most scripted interviews I've ever seen, yet it screams desperation. And perhaps that's because Drake touches on vulnerable topics, but answers them with polished practice answers. And in that way, it kind of feels like a politician. At the DNC, Biden was straight reading off the teleprompter, while at the RNC, Trump is leaning on the pulpit and winging it. I don't even like Trump, but he's actually speaking his mind, and that makes him more likable. Biden very well may be a better guy behind closed doors, but we don't even know him. And for many people, the evil you know is better than the evil you don't. The Rap Radar interview gave me an impression that I don't trust Drake. I like a lot of his music, but I don't trust him. If Tyler says something, I go, yes, this is exactly how he feels. With Drake, he just says the right thing, and maybe that's why we don't trust him.
Some of like my blackest friends can be just as cruel on the other end, by making you feel excluded. Sometimes I don't feel celebrated when I know maybe somebody else would be celebrated for those accomplishments, I don't feel like people say, when Drake is the artist of the decade, I don't think anybody says, wow, a black artist is the artist of the decade. I don't think anybody says that, really. I never heard anybody say that in the last few weeks.
Drake has always felt like an outsider, and I feel for him for that reason. That was part of his allure early on and what resonated with me, because I've always been someone that never quite fit into
we already
a
know he
single
ain't
group.
black.
When I think back on my high school experience, I remember sophomore year looking
daddy
around
already
the
warned you.
and not knowing
He
which
will
to
lie in your
sit at.
face.
I had a couple friends at multiple
daddy
tables, but no one
warned
was
you.
vying for me to sit
So
with
don't
him.
say
So I
his
picked
daddy
one and sat
neglected
at the end
you.
of the table with
Two.
honestly no one
Because
wanted
Drake
to
is
talk
saying
to
his
me.
daddy
I wasn't
neglected him.
integral. I wasn't
And he
actually
grew up
a
like
part of
Lil
the group.
Weezy. And Lil
And I
Weezy
jumped
told him,
between 3
man,
different
just be
tables
yourself.
that year.
Don't
But
use
as I got
me
older and more confident,
as no
more
motherfucking
myself, I found my people, and that wasn't an issue my
cosign for
last
your
2 years in high
motherfucking
school.
reckless lies.
Drake is an artist that you put on
for
at
your
a pregame
motherfucking lost
that will
identity
pass every time,
and your blackface
and you won't get
motherfucking
judged. It's the
spectacular,
least
nigga.
vulnerable. I think
Your
it'd be very
rerun.
difficult for me to go on
Don't
a
use
date
me for
and
your
have a
blackface
conversation with someone
rerun.
about being a Drake fan.
Let it go,
it's like
player.
wearing Nike.
Be yourself.
It's the most inoffensive
Daddy
thing you
told
can
him the
wear.
same thing.
No one would
Stop
shit
lying
on
on
you
me,
for
nigga.
it, but it doesn't
Be
say much
yourself.
about you as a
Nigga,
person.
this Halloween costume
Drake
gotta
is
go,
the
nigga.
highest-selling
Halloween
artist
over.
of all time
And
in the
Daddy
US.
told him that.
But when all is said and done, I don't think that says much about the art. The Avengers is the highest-grossing film ever, but is it the best movie of all time? It's scary to put yourself out there. Everyone can relate to where Drake's coming from, but we can also relate to why it's the wrong direction. He has a massive fan base and has the opportunity to elevate their taste levels.
If you're able to like wrap your head around it and be like, okay, cool, I get it. It is what it is. Good song. That's not what like great music is. Great music takes a little work on your part. You know, it takes you almost maybe elevating your listening level and becoming, you know,
white like you,
bit more of a sophisticated listener because of a song or because of an album.
Y'all know I disagree, so order in the court. Another day, another dollar. Fair use and educational purposes. The
So I
Soul
want to
Game,
give a
y'all.
big shout out to Audible.
Yeah, the Soul Game, y'all. Thanks again. Y'all come back now. You're here in the garden. God's heart. Peace, love, and Soul Game. Player.
Viral, landing a
Get out my neighborhood, black man.
tonight.
You know this is all white neighborhood.
Walk away. You walk away.
Well, you're taking a look at some of the video at the lakes at Barony Place. This is a subdivision in Richland County. This actually happened on Monday. It's unclear what happened before a woman started recording this video, but we can hear the young man in the video.
He said, some white woman said she seen a black man in the neighborhood and he looked at her. So she went to the house to go get this, her husband. Ain't that a Emmett Till or what?
Continue walking and then eventually
Emmett Till, y'all.
He also uses graphic language that we had to mute out of this video and tells the young man that he's not welcome. The video spread rapidly.
Get the hell out my neighborhood.
26,000
Black
shares
man.
after 48 hours on Facebook. And it is sparking some outrage.